always, Mike Bradley here for more guitar shenanigans. Pickups. These strange things we have on our guitars, or electric guitars anyway. The lovely man that is Bertrand asked me a really good question on my last video, tone chasing video. And he asked, you know, the difference between, if I could talk a little bit about the difference between pickups, as I seem to be a single coil kind of guy, you know, and he's right in mentioning that and saying that I am kind of more of a single coil guy. I'm more kind of comfortable playing single coils. Still like playing humbuckers, and I like the kind of thickness and warmth they bring, but I find using single coils, for me, I'm able to get more diversity with the kind of sounds I want to get. So I thought I'll just talk a little bit about, you know, the difference between single coils and humbuckers and stuff. So this in my hands right here is my Fender Strat, my old faithful guitar I've had since, God, 16 years coming up now, a long time. And in these in this Strat I've got some lace sensor pickups, and they're single coils, and they're noiseless pickups as well, so the volume's up and you can hear the noise of the guitar, but they're not no kind of vintage 60s style hum or anything like that. Some people don't get on with the noiseless. I really like them. So these are single coil pickups. I'm just using a clean sound here, and you know, they're a thinner sound to a humbucker. But first thing first, with a Strat type guitar, what I like about having 3 single coil pickups is that out of phase sound you can get. I really like using that a lot. So for example, if I put the second position on, so I've got the neck and middle, you've got that kind of nice kind of out of phase in between sound which make no sense unless you know what they kind of hear like. Of course, a bit of distortion on there. Put the neck pickup back on. And I like that, you know, it's not too out there, you know what I mean? This is kind of a lot more kind of laid back and bluesy, but you can always make a thinner sounding instrument or sound thicker a lot easier than making a thick sounding instrument thinner, if that makes sense. So there, that's a nice crunchy sound for me. If I want to make it thicker, I can kick in a pedal. I've just kicked in a soul through pedal. I've got quite a thick sounding sound there using a single coil, and of course I can dial back the tone a bit. So actually I'll get that sound back up, dial the tone down a bit. So it's got a nice little honk to it, you know. So what makes pickups work, you're probably thinking? So all it is a magnet with coil wrapped around it. That's all it is basically. So a single coil is just one magnet with a load of copper wire wrapped around it, lots and lots of wire wrapped around it. Now a humbucker, I'm sure you know what one looks like, but just in case you don't, it looks like this. This is a guitar with humbuckers in it, alright? And as you can see, they're black and white looking, and that's usually referred to as zebra pickups, alright? Not the make or anything, just because they're black and white, like a zebra. But you can look at it in complete layman's terms, you know, at first, it's okay, that's just 2 single coils put together, and kind of, but they're kind of wired differently. They're kind of not 2 individual things put together, they're one unit put together that way with the copper wire wrapped around it about 5,000 times, whatever. So humbuckers are obviously produce a thicker sound because it's it's doubled up, isn't it? A lot of people prefer humbuckers because they don't hum like a lot of single coils do. Now with the Strat I just used, like I said, it had noiseless pickups in it. So it's designed to be noiseless, hence the name. But a lot of single coils aren't like that, and players tend to go to humbuckers to get rid of that kind of, like I say, 60s cycle hum. Especially if you play certain venues sometimes, and it can play havoc if you've got lots of amps going on and stuff, and hums go over the place. So players tend to go for humbuckers. Now this guitar is an E flat. Yeah, it is an E flat. I haven't played this guitar for a while, but hopefully you can hear already just cleanly, it's a thicker sound. I say apologies, it's in E flat, it's a different tuning. Actually if I go forward, so I'm in essentially A sharp, but now A, if that makes sense. But you can still hear it's a thicker sounding sound, you know. Now if I put the humbuckers, distortion on, that was our tune. That's a lot thicker sounding instrument, isn't it, because of these humbuckers. Now the body of this I believe is older, just like my Strat, so the same wood. Obviously it's got a maple neck, so it's going to make it slightly brighter than if it had a rosewood, but the overall sound is a lot more thicker because of the humbuckers. Now let me switch to Les Paul because I'm more comfortable playing that. Right, so here we have a Gibson Les Paul and it has humbuckers. The reason I didn't show this the first time, I wanted to show you without the covers because this Les Paul has the covers still over the pickups, but underneath them it will be exactly looking like the previous the Music Man guitar I had there. I've never actually taken these covers off, and I've always been tempted to because apparently with them off it gives it a bit more of a biting kind of sound, but that's another story altogether. But this guitar isn't made of alder, it's a mahogany wood basically, so already that's going to be a thicker sounding instrument straight away, and then topping it off with humbuckers, it's going to make it sound very big and fat and a little bit dark on the darker side than if you had a single coil. Now if you want a big rock sound, it's fantastic, you know, like this. It's fantastic for that, you know. And if I do a cleaner kind of sound, again, hopefully you can hear it's a lot thicker than if you wind it back and listen to the Strat. But if you're doing kind of a funky thing, personally for me it's just a little bit too fat, you know. Now if I A-B this, right, so this is the Les Paul. a Strat. They're a lot of different sounding, aren't they? So if you're going to do a funk kind of sound, you probably wouldn't want to use a Les Paul or a humbucker. Maybe you would, you know, like I say, this is just my preference. I prefer using a single coil for it. So that's why I kind of tend to go towards single coils, as that I just find I can control them a little bit better. But saying that, you know, I still love a humbucker guitar, you know, especially this guitar. You know, if you're doing blues kind of stuff, again, I go between the two, you know. I just personally feel I can control a single coil a bit more than a humbucker. You know, you have to do a little bit more fiddling with a humbucker. So playing at that low volume-ish, I was actually probably more comfortable playing the Strat than a Les Paul, you know. But sometimes when I'm on stage, it again depends on the song, but if I'm doing kind of a rocky kind of song, a Les Paul, a higher volume really stirs my loins a bit more, you know. But in all intents and purposes, I'm just more comfortable playing single coil type of guitars, you know. Maybe if I experimented a bit more and did like, you can do split coils, can't you, on you know, humbuckers, you can split the coils so they're kind of more single coil-esque sounds and that kind of thing. But I think it all kind of comes down to having lots of different guitars, you know, for different sounds you want for a specific song, because the reason why we play the guitar is to make music. That is the bottom line. All the time we sit there practicing all this kind of stuff, you know, getting our scales, chords down, all that kind of thing, is to help create music, and these are tools for us, aren't they? So yeah, having lots of guitars with different types of pickups, you can have more paints to make your lovely picture with. So yeah, this was some of my thoughts really on pickups and regarding single coils and humbuckers, and how I kind of like using them. You know, if I've got a really heavy kind of rock song, of course I want to use a humbucker equipped guitar. if I want to be able to get different kind of sounds, you know, regarding going from kind of rocky to quite a clean kind of sound, I'm going to go for something with single coils, you know. But as always, experiment, find what's best for you. You know, lots of players, Joe Bonamassa uses pretty much Les Pauls and he sounds alright, you know. And then you got, you know, someone like, oh god, same kind of field, Michael Landau, who is definitely the guitar player, isn't he? And he's, you know, pretty much a Strat guy. You know, he uses single coils. I know he used to use a humbucker in the back in one of his Strats, but pretty much a single coil player. And again, he sounds alright as well, doesn't he? So, you know, it's what works best for you. But for me, love them all. But yeah, I'm definitely more comfortable on a single coil and really a Strat. I've always been a Strat type of guy since I was 13, you know. So anyway, as always, hopefully that's helped understand a bit of my life with the guitar, and I'm going to try and make sure I do a new video every week, so always check back and let me know your thoughts, guys. Thanks as always for sticking with me and the support, and I'll see you next time. Mike Bradley signing out.